Hello, my name is Alcanne Houtzaager and I blog and vlog about impact investing. Impact investing as in investing for return and positive impact. And my focus is on inclusive impact investing. That is for small retail investors. So I like public equity and I like crowdfunding for impact as long as it's a regulated crowdfunding. Now I blog in Dutch, but I vlog in English to open up the content of the blogs for you, because a lot of the resources, articles, reports, news that I blog about is actually written in English. So with the links in the blog you can find these resources. And this is the blog for Impact Investing News May 15th. I'm a bit behind, but it's been very busy. The blog for May 15th has been the best visited blog ever. That's because it has a master's thesis by a Dutch student, Leonieke Blaauwgeers, who graduated at Erasmus University, which is one of the best universities in the Netherlands, in Europe, and it always makes global rankings as well. And she graduated on public equity impact investing, so her master's is in economics and finance. And I'm going to read the abstract of her master's thesis to you. This paper is pioneering in the quantitative analysis of the financial and impact performance of impact investments in public equities. Impact investing is defined as investments with the intention to generate social and environmental outcomes alongside a financial return. I construct 3 different impact portfolios and compare them with matched traditional portfolios. Using the monthly Jensen's alpha of the FAMA French 4-factor model, I find that the impact portfolios yield higher positive abnormal returns than the traditional portfolios, although the ORA and ORE are generally lower. On average, the impact portfolios outperform the traditional portfolios on impact performance. So this is incredibly good news. It's, as far as I know, the first academic paper on impact investing in public equities. So that's why this month I've been so busy. I've been emailing everybody, putting it out in my network to make sure that everybody knows that this knowledge is now out there and that we can start building impact portfolios in public equity. Leonieke constructed portfolios in the sustainable investment universe, ESG universe, for renewable energy, for education and for health. And that brings us to an interesting aspect of the ESG universe, because for renewable energy, carbon dioxide emission, it was easy to find the impact, but for health and education, which are obviously impact sectors and are basic needs for people, there is no intrinsic value for the fact that they offer these services. But Leonieke decided to go for diversity and gender equality, and the impact that she researched was actually the number of female managers. And as health and education attracts a lot of women in their workforce, the number of female managers was also outstanding. So that's where the positive impact comes from. Now this is really interesting, that the ESG universe system, as it's developing fast, ESG integration is moving forward, but it does not give any intrinsic value to basic needs sectors, which is, odd. The rate sustainability movement, which is doing incredibly important work as well, finding correlations between the E or S or G factors and the core activities of companies, is of course looking into the best return for investing in either environment, social, or governance for a company. But intrinsic value for basic needs and impact sectors hasn't been introduced yet. Another article in the academic article in the Stanford Social Innovation Review by Harry Hummels, Professor Harry Hummels, the Dutch Mr. Impact Investing. He was CEO for Impact Investment Management with a Dutch bank. He's a professor at 2 Dutch universities. He's the European liaison for the Global Impact Investing Network. And he is co-authoring with his former fund manager, writing about the role of institutional investors in impact investing, big historically and different. Now for Europe, you have to know that it's especially institutional investors that have done important work building the sustainable investment universe. They sort of dominate the market by 90%. And Dutch institutional investors published a report in January stating that they actually have 24 billion euros in impact investments already in both private and public equity. So that makes us a world champion in impact investing. If you relate it to the Global Impact Network, Global Impact Investing Network of 77 billion US dollars. I wrote an article in Dutch, but the visual is in English, and basically it shows you in a glance where I divide or distinguish really broad and deep impact, as in broad and deep impact investing. Because the concept came up in a couple of articles. Brian Trelstad spoke about it in Harvard Business Review. Franz Siegel spoke about it in Conscious Magazine. And when I was a fundraiser for charities in Holland, and we had, granted funds for maybe scientific research, it was often about doing a little bit for a lot of patients or doing a lot for a smaller group of patients. And this is how you can sort of distinguish broad and deep impact investing. Broad is basically the ESG risk universe, maybe doing less harm, maybe ESG opportunities, doing less harm and doing good. And in my impact my impact indicator for investment products, I have 6 levels. 0 is, of course, I only go for return. 6 is I value impact more than return. And in the middle you find ESG risk and ESG opportunity. And that's where I put the line between broad and deep, because for me level 4 is I care about worldwide threats and return. So that is investing in opportunities to diminish worldwide threats. And worldwide threats are actually problems that have not been integrated in the ESG system yet. There was an article about Dieselgate, the carbon dioxide emission scandal, by Jordi Lesoffer, who worked for Vigio Eiris, which is an ESG research bureau index builder. And he warns us that focusing on carbon dioxide emissions all the time actually diverts attentions from other emissions, from gas-driven cars. I think he mentioned something like NX, which is actually more harmful for people, but because it's not part of the ESG key indicator system yet, companies are not really investing in diminishing that emission. So for me that was an inspiring article, and that's why I always keep saying sapere aude, dare to know, and when you do, take appropriate action. Then I read the book by Edward de Bono, the famous Maltese management guru, who wrote the 6 Thinking Hats and the 6 Action Shoes and many, many more books. This is one, I think, his 82nd book. Very interesting. Thinking to Create Value. I found it very inspiring, and I came up with 10 reasons for impact investing, just like that. And I came up with a new verb, because Mr. de Bono also does that. He creates lots of new words, and this time it was a new verb, ebni, excellent but not good enough. And I came up with Alcanne, and that's inspired by Leonike's public equity impact investing. And Alcanne is about not giving value to basic need sectors in ESG measurement. And Alcanne stands for absurd. Let's change to a new normative econometry. And I chose econometry and not economics because, of course, impact investing is all about measuring impact metrics. And we have good news about metrics. Sinzer, which is a Dutch impact measurement online platform, has integrated the Global Reporting Initiative indicators in her platform, but also 173 Sustainable Development Goals indicators, which means that if you are a company and you were inspired by the new Sustainable Development Goals, you can now relate your impact to the new Sustainable Development Goals. And if you want to see an example, check out the Sonen Capital report, where they integrated Sustainable Development Goals in their portfolio impact measurement. More news from the Netherlands. One of our bigger banks is going to work with the biggest sustainable crowdfunding platform, One Planet Crowd, and with call it Crowdfund, which is more a small, medium-sized entrepreneur crowdfunding platform, but they also support companies with coaches, which in impact investing we call technical assistants. So it's good that the banks are actually embracing crowdfunding like this. I would like to see Dutch charities embrace crowdfunding as well. If you give grants for innovative pilots, do team up with a crowdfunding platform to supply growth capital once a pilot has shown promising results. And there's a primer about public equity impact investing published by The Impact in English. And The Impact is actually the impact investing fund advisory, which was set up by Abigail Noble, who was the World Economic Forum's director for impact investing for 3 years. And I found a website by Main Street Partners in the UK, and that's the co-author of the Stanford Social Innovation Review article. And they actually offer the largest number of impact investment funds that I actually came across online. So that's also a very interesting resource. And that's it. That's it for the English sources for Impact Investing News blog. Hope you like it. If you have questions or suggestions, please let me know. impactinvestmentnews@yahoo.com. Thank you.